Good evening, YouTube. DutyRon back in this evening with another video. And tonight we're going to talk about Clara Forman on the 3-year anniversary of her murder. I have a great guests. I have actually 2 guests. I have a great show for you guys. We're going to honor her life and her children's life. As you know, Mav is a great friend of the DutyRon family. But I want to just say before we get started, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you will get all things DutyRon when I go live or when I upload another video. Guys, my name again, DutyRon, retired NYPD detective with 20 plus years in law enforcement. We talk about all things true crime, but tonight is a case that is near and dear to me because of Mav B. This is her cousin who was brutally slain on this night 3 years ago in British Columbia, Kelowna. We talked about this on previous live streams, and I've had her on many a times to speak about this. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Mav in. I want to just say a special thank you to Mav B for being here with us tonight. Hello, sweetheart. How are you? Love and respect.
Thank you so much for having me on again. Thank you for taking this time and everybody for being here to honor Clara and Yesenia, Karina. We are on the 3rd anniversary and it seems impossible that we're here, but here we are. And I appreciate that you have helped keep her memory alive and help have a voice be heard for victims of domestic violence.
You know, that's what's important. Before you and I ever even met or had the opportunity to talk to each other, it was always my intention, and it always is my intention going forward, is to respect and keep the memories of the victims and their families alive and presented in a respectful manner. And I think that's what caught you, you know, in addition to some of the words that I was saying. I remember you saying to me, DutyRon, you said the things that I always wanted to hear, and it was refreshing for you to hear me say it. And that made me so happy that I was able to touch a family member of a victim who I spoke about. I spoke about her because her case, as we talked about, mirrors the Chris Watts family murder. And there were so many similarities that it compelled me to actually cover this. And, you know, I had never heard about it. And it was a case that should have gotten national and international attention. And I feel like it really didn't, because maybe it was outside this country and our media here in the United States didn't pick up on it. But she was, she lived in the United States for a little bit, and she was from Mexico, where you were from, right? But lots of the extended family live in the California area and other areas. And then she moved to Canada when she met Jacob. But I just felt it was a noteworthy case to talk about. And I was so happy that you emailed me and talked to me about it. So here we are today, fast forward 3 years to the day. Talk about some of the feelings that you have on a day like this. And I know you talk about her a lot and you think about her, but talk about what goes on a day like this.
To be honest, I wasn't sure how today was going to feel, or, you know, what kind of mood I was going to be in, or if I was even going to be up for doing this. And I think we both had talked back and forth about whether or not we wanted to do this. And it really came into my heart that I wanted to honor her, and I wanted to continue to allow her to have a voice, and to make sure that people knew that she was amazing and worthy of love, and that this did happen, and that they were people that existed, and there's a family behind them. And also just, you know, remembering and going back, we have mixed feelings. Of course, we remember her with love, and then there's also the parts where we as a family feel, some of us have, you know, and myself have said, you know, what could we have done? Or I wish that we could have gotten to her sooner. I wish that she would have just left him, you know, things like that. And all of the what could we have done? going back to even their wedding day, when I took their photos and got her ready and made her a wedding cake, and thinking, man, would I go back to that time and just tell her, just don't leave us or stay close with us, so that we would have the opportunity to help her before it was too late. And I'm hoping at this time that maybe there's somebody who might recognize the signs, or if you are in a situation where you feel like you're not safe, to have the courage to reach out to somebody to help you to leave. And that's something that is heavy on our hearts today as we miss them.
Yeah, I mean, and it is part of human nature, no matter what, whether it's your cousin or your sister or a friend. We always beat ourselves up because we look to, like, what were the signs? What did I miss? What did we miss? How come we didn't know? But as you spoke about in previous streams, there were those subtle signs that you were picking up on, because you are a very sharp woman. You've been through domestic violence relationships in the past, and you picked up on some of these red flags. You want to talk a little bit about some of those red flags that you noticed?
Some of the things that were concerning were that she wasn't allowed, like the words like she's not allowed to talk to me, or the fact that we only really had a relationship with her and the family in the last years were just a social media relationship. That was our connection, versus having her in family gatherings. And she did have visits and she did have her parents, but we did have some concerns that he was controlling, and then also in the last visits that he had been strange, and also that he had been distant and erratic with his behavior. And those things scared us, and ultimately our feelings about it were correct. And you, as a family or a person that cares about someone who you may worry about, you have to be very delicate about how you approach the situation, because you don't know how much surveillance the other person has on the individual. We didn't know if it was just a feeling. We didn't know how to approach it. And it's a very difficult situation. Had I known about her tight-knit family at work, I would have reached out and said, please check on her, and please be involved and be nosy and be extra, those kind of things.
Yeah. And again, we're working on getting our special guest in. And when you spoke about people on the outside, friends, co-workers, this again mirrors us right back to many other domestic violence cases and murder cases. Look at Chris Watts. Her best friend, Shanann, Nicole, knew that there was something wrong, and she went with her husband to the house and called the police there to do the welfare check. And sure enough, she was onto something, just like our friend Diane, that I had an opportunity the first time ever to talk to her today. And she was an advocate, so to speak, somebody who stepped up and was red flagging like crazy when she failed to show up to work. I just want to say quickly, thank you to 12-Step Mom, 12-Step Woman, for the super sticker. Thank you for your support on the stream. I want to show the video for our viewers of the news report. It's going to give us about 3 to 5 minutes. It'll give everybody an overview on Clara's case, on exactly what happened. And Mav, I got your permission before this, so everybody knows that's watching. This is for your benefit, not for Mav, because this is just rehashing old news for her. But she wants everyone here to know what happened to her cousin, and this gives us a pretty good overview. So please bear with me and throw up some prayers and hearts in the chat while this plays. So let me add this to the stream. It's just going to be on full screen. Let me get that full so everybody can see it. Mav, you need to take a break. We can do that.
For joining us tonight, and we begin at the Kelowna courthouse, where a local man has been sentenced for killing his daughters and his wife, with the details of the grisly murders finally being revealed to the public. Our Claudia Van Emmerich is standing by at the courthouse, where Jacob Forman's sentence set a precedent here in BC. Claudia?
Truth Seeker, thank you for becoming a channel member. Sandra, thanks for the sticker.
Doris, yes, thank you. And that is right. This is the first time in BC that consecutive sentence has been handed down to a person convicted of multiple murders. Now, when handing down that sentence, the judge called these murders horrific and ones that shock the entire community. At the center of it all, Jacob Forman, who was sentenced here at the Kelowna courthouse today to 35 years in prison before any parole eligibility. 25 years for the murders, first-degree murders of both his daughters, 7 and 8 years old. Now, those sentences will be served concurrently, but that will be followed by a sentence, the second-degree murder of his wife, Clara. That's 10 years. So 35 years in total before he is eligible for any parole consideration. Now, because there was no trial, because there were guilty pleas involved here, this really was the first time that these details of these murders came out to the public. And I can tell you, they are very disturbing. They were very difficult to listen to. The wife, Clara, killed in the heat of anger. His daughters killed under the pretense of playing a game with their father. Now, these horrible murders happened in December of 2017, just days before Christmas.
It's just, it's left a hole in all of our lives, in our hearts.
An emotional day for friends of Clara Forman, a Kelowna mother who, along with her 2 daughters, 7-year-old Karina and 8-year-old Yesenia, were murdered just days before Christmas in 2017.
Clara was the most beautiful, warm, loving, kind. I can't find enough words to describe her. She was incredible.
The murders of the popular fitness instructor and the 2 girls still raw for those attending the proceedings, many wearing shirts reading, "This one's for Clara." The killings committed by Jacob Forman, Clara's husband and the girl's father, who pleaded guilty to 1 count of second-degree murder and 2 counts of first-degree. With guilty pleas and no trial, the sentencing hearing is the first time we're hearing how Clara Forman and her daughters were killed, and the details are disturbing. Court heard how the couple were arguing in their master bedroom about Jacob Forman's alcohol use when he became agitated, grabbed a mini sledgehammer, and struck his wife in the head 3 times. It all unfolded here at the Rutland home. Court heard how after the first strike, Clara fell to the ground asking, "Why are you doing this?" When her fingers were still twitching after the second blow, he hit her 3rd time, killing her. Hours later, he took his daughters into their room one by one under the pretense of playing a game, instead choking them to death. 2 days later, when Clara didn't show up for work, coworkers became concerned and called police. RCMP attended and eventually discovered the 3 bodies in the garage. Clara's in a sleeping bag, the girls in a Rubbermaid container. After Crown concluded its submissions, the judge and Forman's lawyer began discussing timeline and the fact that a sentence may not come down until sometime Tuesday, depending on how long defense would take for its submissions. That's when, in a surprising move, Jacob Forman got up in court and said, quote, "I'd rather have this done today." Forman's defense lawyer told court how his client was an alcoholic who was suffering from withdrawals at the time of the murders.
Okay, folks, I'm gonna just cut that short right there. Let me bring Clara back on. Clara, I know that was tough to listen to, and I thank you for giving me permission for playing that for our audience. Yes, in the comments, Truth Seeker, thank you for becoming a channel member. Truth Seeker says, "So evil." And I said this on my very first stream that you watched. He is an evil monster for what he did to Clara and his 2 daughters, his own flesh and blood. The woman Diane, who was interviewed on that news clip that we saw there, that's Clara's good friend. I spoke to her today on the phone. I have her here. I'm going to add her into the stream right now. So without further ado, I'm going to add in Diane. Much love and respect to you, Diane. Thank you so much for being in here.
Hi.
Hi.
So my listening audience has been watching, and we've been talking a little bit about you and your role in sending the police out when Clara didn't show up to work, that was a telltale sign for you. Just let the listening audience know what drew you to get the police involved.
Well, we just knew Clara and what kind of a person she was. And I've used many beautiful words to describe her, but one that I really focus on is she was devoted. Everything she did, she was devoted to. She was a devoted wife. She was a devoted mother. She was a devoted woman of faith. And she was devoted to her friends and her job and everything she did. She was, she was devout. And so when she didn't show up to work, we just knew that was completely out of character for her. And so, you just start moving. You move to find out where is she okay? And one of the things that we heard back from Jacob was that she was sick that morning. And so my husband and I thought, well, she homeschools the girls. And so what are the girls doing if they're at home alone or, their mom's in bed? And we just thought we're going to go and check on her and see what she needs.
So you went there with your husband?
Yes, because we thought she must be really sick if she didn't, come in or phone or anything.
Right.
And so that started just the whole sequence of events where then we tried to get a hold of Jacob, and then he told our manager that she had left that morning. She had left him with the girls, packed up her things and left, which was another
red flag. Yeah, red flag.
And then it just proceeded from there that I was trying to get a hold of Jacob and he wouldn't return my calls. So that's when I said, my husband said, send him a text and tell him you're phoning the police. And he didn't respond. So yeah, that's, so then you just, you have to do something, and that you have to involve the police. So.
Right. The wheels went in motion quickly. And the reason I feel that it went quickly with you is because of the relationship you had with Clara and how punctual and how, reliable she was, that she would not communicate with you. So, I have to say, Diane, I tip my cap to you as a retired New York City police detective. Without swift action from good, honest citizens like yourself and good friends, we are not able to do our job effectively. We sometimes rely on somebody like yourself. And I always say on all of my live streams, when we talk about domestic violence, when we talk about any criminal cases, if you see something out of order, say something.
Yeah.
It may not be anything major. And in most cases, it turns out to be just an abundance of caution, right? But in this case, Diane, you were the difference between discovery and perhaps this, and excuse my language, this scum getting away with disposing of Clara and her daughters. So I can't say how brave and how much I respect what you did. And the fact that I got a hold of you today was a miracle, I felt, because the chances of you answering me and, coming right back to me with, yes, I'll come on and speak about it, meant so much to Mav. And I'm going to let Mav take over now, because she has been speaking to me about you for over 6 months on you and the girls. Let's do this for, what did exactly the shirt say? Do it for
this one's for Clara and the girls. Yeah.
This one's for Clara and the girls.
Yeah.
And I have a picture of that. It's actually in the thumbnail of this stream. So I used you ladies. I hope you don't mind. I thought it was great to have that included.
Yeah.
Mav, that's Clara's cousin, first cousin, she said, Ron, if I can get a hold of these women just to thank them, it would mean the world to me. So here you go, ladies. You got it, Mav.
Thank you so much. And that's the truth. I kept saying, Well, Diane and I spoke today, and one of the things
Yeah.
that we both said was that we watch things like Dateline, and we are into that kind of the true crime stories. I never thought we would be in one.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I know is that, as DutyRon said, it really does make those days, that time frame makes such a huge difference. And it's the difference from us being one of the families that actually know what happened. We have our family members. We were able to put them to rest. We know what happened, and we know that the perpetrator is behind bars right now. And
Justice was served, which is really all. We can't prevent this from happening. We couldn't have prevented it. We didn't know, but we can fight for justice for Clara and the girls, and as you said, take someone like that out of society so they don't harm anyone else. But I just do want to say that like you and I spoke today, Mav, is that the family, which was not blood up here of Clara, I call the family because it was the two gyms that she worked at. One was in Vernon and one was in Kelowna. And the members and the instructors and the staff, like everybody loved her so much. And the celebration of life we had for her and the response that everyone came together. And yes, I phoned the police, but there were many others behind the scenes as well. And I don't want to, neglect to, mention them as well. But that's just a testament to how incredible Clara is. Like everybody adored her. Everybody adored her.
that makes me so happy to hear and to know that she did, because we felt she was so far away. And when I knew that she had family, that was hers. And it was very important to me for Clara and the girls that as a victim, she had an advocate, even though she was no longer physically here, that she had an advocate still, and that people didn't forget, and that these advocates were 100% biased towards her. And that was really, really important to me. So we were not able to be there in court. We were not able to be the family in Kelowna when this was going down. But you guys were. You were her family. And just to know that she had people that cared enough to say, no, this isn't the truth. And to say afterwards, we're going to make sure that this guy doesn't walk on this, and to work so closely with the investigators that were trying to make sure that they had a good case. And being in that position, I can only imagine how difficult that may have been for you to be all of a sudden put in that position. You went forward and did the right thing. And that's something that we're so grateful for, myself and my whole family. And when I talked to my family today about having finally connected with you and to be able to put the face to the name and to say, that person that we've seen comment a couple times or here and there, it's because of these people that we know what happened to our loved one, that we know what happened to them, and that they have had a form of justice.
Well, honestly, I don't want to I just did what I'm sure a lot of people would do. I just, loved her so much. And the girls, we spent time with Clara and the girls. They came over to our place, as I told you, and they were just they were the sweetest little girls. And Clara was, as I've said, just the most beautiful person. And so you just move forward, and when something's not right, you just move forward. And I don't want to take credit for that. I mean, that's the kind of person Clara was. And you just, when you're concerned for your friend that you adore and love, then you just do what you do.
And thank you for that.
Yeah.
It really does mean the world to us.
Yeah.
I have to just interject because I've been holding back for a little bit here. Diane, you have no idea how much this means to Mav and the family. I mean, when I got off the phone with you today and I called Mav and we text back and forth, it was like just like a divine intervention. It really has been weighing hard and heavy on her for all of these past 3 years. You were there and you were instrumental, and she can't thank you enough. And I can't thank you enough, because I now am a stranger, but initially, but now I'm not. I'm part of Mav's family. I'm part of Clara's family.
Yeah.
You know, we have so many people here that are saying wonderful things in the chat. I put up on the screen, retired Sergeant Melinda is a retired military veteran, and she sent $100 super chat, which I will forward to you, Mav. It says, Diane/husband, salute for being the angel's voice for Clara and their precious babies. Prayers lifted high for each and every one of you. Prayers and hearts. So this is an outpouring of love from complete strangers throughout the United States and throughout the world. We have people from over in the UK watching. We have New Zealand, the Netherlands, South Africa, Saudi Arabia. There's people from all walks of life here to celebrate the life of Mav's cousin, Clara, and her two beautiful children. So I'm just a facilitator for this, and I think it's beautiful. You guys do a Zoom meeting, I think around 7:00.
Yeah, we do something every year.
Let's talk
and
about
we
that.
always will, because that's how you keep her memory and the girls alive. Because they're alive in our hearts, and we just we do it every year. So I thank you so much for having me, and I'm so glad I got to meet both of you.
Yes, and it is just so wonderful to have somebody here that was there while the proceedings were going on in the court to just talk about it. And just one other thing I want to ask you is, the other ladies that were there with you, were they all employees working at the gym with her, or were they people from the community?
The majority of them were they were instructors and members. I mean, the outpouring from the members is just incredible, and was unbelievable.
Right, the membership at the gym is, you're referring to the members
Yes,
as the
everyone in the
membership
gym.
at the gym.
Yeah, and I mean, it just, again, I can't speak enough and say enough about how that just reflected on what an unbelievable person Clara was, and it's such a huge loss that that's again why we get together every year. And even it's not just this anniversary, we talk about her other times, but that's just how incredible she was. She meant a lot to a lot of people, like,
We have no idea, but now we're getting an idea. And I think, even with Diane, with Mav being so disconnected because of the narcissistic behavior that Jacob exhibited, how he shielded her from her real family in the United States.
Which we didn't know.
Yeah.
We didn't know about that.
Right. They are very good at shielding people from that. It just probably seemed like a bed of roses, but unfortunately, as we know now, it wasn't. And whether it was over his drinking or whatever the case may be, no actions deserve the results that her and her children received.
No.
So if and when the 35-year parole time comes up, if I'm still around, because I'm 57, if I'm still around, I'll probably be using a walker at that time. I'm coming up there, and we are going to make sure he doesn't get paroled, because
we'll all join together.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
So I got to start working out. If it's all right with you, I know you got to go, but I want to put this will be just for 2 minutes. Moment of silence with us all here. I'm going to share a screen with 3 lit candles, and everybody in the chat, please put prayer emojis and hearts for the girls and Clara. I'm going to share that screen with you all. It'll just be that screen. So Diane, myself, and Mav, we won't be on. And then I'll bring you guys back on after the 2-minute mark, and then we'll say goodbye to you, Diane. Okay?
Okay, beautiful.
full screen. Actually, you know what? We'll leave it with us here. I like this. I like the way this looks. So this is a moment of silence in memory on the 3-year mark for the girls. I don't want to mess their names up, Clara, unless you want to say them. And Mav, if you want to say the girls' names, I mess them up all the time. Karina and Yesenia.
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 Yesenia. Sorry. This is for you. Amen. Thank you, Diane, so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We have nothing but love and respect for you, and I hope that we now are connected through Facebook and we have each other's phone numbers. Let's continue the conversation anytime, day or night. If you have questions or, if you want to talk, I know Mav is going to be there for you. We're going to continue this live. I know you have to go because it's close to 7.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Any final words for her, Mav?
Thank you so much, Diane. And please convey that to the rest of the family over there.
I
and I
will.
do consider you family, blood or not.
Yes.
Love is thicker than blood. I know
Yeah,
that.
that's right. And we
Tell
are.
the girls
and
to
I'll
follow
definitely
Mav. Tell the girls to follow Mav on Facebook and social media and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you guys take care. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you. God
Okay,
bless.
good.
Wow. That was amazing.
That was one of the most important conversations that I had today. And I thank you for the encouragement. It was very scary for me to reach out because I had no idea what I know now regarding her role. And Diane plays it down, but her role was instrumental in making sure that Jacob is in prison right now. And I firmly believe I have seen a couple of the comments, and people who are calling her a hero is absolutely, she is the hero for our family. She is the reason that we have at least a chance at some peace. I don't know that we'll ever be at peace, but she's given me that opportunity to have it.
She is a tremendous piece in this puzzle. I could tell you as a professional in 20 years, I've put many murderers in handcuffs without the help of her and her husband's aggressiveness. And the aggressiveness that they displayed was warranted, unbeknownst to them, right? They just were concerned that she was sick. That's the story that they were told. So Diane is a hero times 10. I tip my cap to her 100 times over. But Mav, what I really love is that I was able to deliver on a promise that I made to you quite a bit ago when we first had this idea. And I think it was me that brought it up to you, is to try to reach out to these women and remember what you said to me. I don't know if we'll be able to do it. And I said to you, I was going to get it done. Did I not?
You did. I shouldn't have doubted you're a detective. Good one.
Don't ever doubt I'm aggressive when it comes to justice, when it comes to giving victims' families, some type of solace and some type of, and I went, like I said, I went out on a limb today and sent her a message. It was a long one. And I said, I hope and pray that she gets it. And I prayed. I told you this. I prayed. Most of you don't know, but I'm raised as a Catholic. My aunt, my mother's sister, is a Catholic nun. She's still alive in her 80s. And the power of prayer is tremendous. The power of prayer is tremendous. And that's what I did. I just sent the message and I prayed. And we worked magic today between you and I. So your cousin is so proud of you right now, looking down on you from heaven with the girls, because you are a tremendous part of keeping her memory alive. As you and I spoke about, there's other people and there's other pieces of the puzzle here that are confusing and that other people might not understand, is family's forgiveness. And, it takes a strong person to understand that everybody has their own throttle of what they can forgive and forget. So each one of us are human beings. And, to have Clara's father forgive, I don't know. I put myself in that same position, although I don't have a daughter. But if someone was to take my kids' lives and their kids, I don't know how, even as a good Catholic, how I would be able to forgive. So I don't find, I don't put judgment or anything like that, but I know that's some of the things that you're up against. And for you to come and speak out is just a testament of how strong of a woman you are and how strong-willed you are. So I congratulate you for doing that and doing these live streams with me. You're amazing. I mean, I don't know if there's anybody here in the chat that could disagree with me on that.
I appreciate you saying that. I don't always feel strong. I know that there were days when I was in a similar situation and I didn't feel strong. I didn't know how I was going to be on the other side of this. Even when we lost these three beautiful cousins of mine, I didn't know how we were going to get on the other side of this, and it felt really hopeless. But there is something that I want everybody to know and hear, is that Clara and the girls, they deserved to be loved and they deserve to be cherished. And each one of us deserves that. There was nothing that they did that made anything that happened to them okay. And that's really important that I say that. They deserve to be cherished their whole life. The girls had a life to live, and they deserve to be able to live that life and to grow up to be parents and grandparents. And that was stolen from them by a person that they loved and that they would have probably protected. And when I look back at the signs that we can see in hindsight, of course, and Diane and I both were talking about that, going back, and we know that a lot of the story that has been told cannot possibly be true. And between the two of us kind of putting the puzzle pieces together, and thank you, Ron, for that. That was one of the things that in our own private conversations, you said, I don't know what it is, but there's going to be bits that you're going to find out from each other, and it's going to be helpful in both ways. I don't know how you knew that, if it was your gut feeling or if it's just experience, but it was absolutely the truth. It was the truth.
Yeah. And that's something that also puts this all in such great, it just puts the pieces of the puzzle together so well, is that I envisioned this meeting that we had today, and the wheels just started today really moving, but the wheels were put in motion months ago when it was a Saturday and it was rainy here, probably nice in California, but it was rainy Saturday here, and I had the conversation with you. It was over 40 minutes, and we talked about this plan. And that's when I had in my mind that this could help you put the missing pieces of the puzzle. And there's still more, because you now going forward have this open line of communication where you can reach out to Diane and maybe others. But I think Diane was the closest to Clara, and spoke so well and so eloquently about the beautiful person that she was, and how her spirit will continue to burn and shine bright through connections like that. You as a victim, you're a victim of what happened, of this crime, because you're a surviving member of the family. For you to get this piece of the puzzle is invaluable. And I know it. I know this to be true because I could see, I can hear it in your voice before we went live, how much this meant to you. And I'm just so happy. And I want to say a special thank you to my Patreon supporters, the channel members, the people who gave Super Chat, which there's so many, and all the new members that have become members here tonight. The community that we've developed here in the DutyRon family is second to none. You guys are fantastic stand-up people. You're what defines good human beings. And I want to just say a special thank you to each and every one of you for the respect that you show, not just only on this live stream, but on all of the live streams where we cover cases where it involves heinous criminal activity committed against another human being. You guys have showed time and time again what outstanding human beings you are. And then this is going out to everybody here. There's too many to mention. You know, Black Rose is here, Gemma's Journey and Grace, retired Sergeant Melinda, Beth. We hope that you do get justice for your slain family member. I pray for justice and that justice will be served. Meg Lowe, Joey Brooklyn, my director of security, Betty Barclay. There's just so many here to mention. I mean, we are blessed to have you. And I'm telling you, without the great community like this is not possible. You guys motivate me to do these things, and it comes from within. It comes from the heart. I have it built in. But when you have a cheering squad behind you, like you guys, and Mav can say this, she said it to me many, many a time. Ron, your people are amazing. Right, Mav?
Yeah. Yes, I said it.
I just called you Mom.
It's okay. Some people call me Mom. They're in the other room. But that's the absolute truth. I have found such great community and such great support in this group. And I have learned that I'm not alone in this. And I have also gained a different perspective. And I've learned to be appreciative of the fact that I do have justice. And I know we have arguments on, different people will say, that's not real justice, but it's better than none. And it's better to know than to not know, and to not have a missing cousin, and to have a cousin where we know exactly what happens. And I do have that perspective because of this community. And I want anybody who's going through hardships and loss of loved ones, and people who are surviving or in that hard time right now that are surviving, that you aren't alone. You do have family here. This community is amazing. The people who have reached out have been wonderful and amazing. And I'm so grateful for your guys' support. I get emotional. I'm sorry.
You know what? You got your tissues for a good reason. Use them if you need them. But, Mav, again, the amount of after hours, behind the scenes messages that I've gotten in regards to you and your family is just so tremendous. Josh, thank you. I see the behind the scenes comments. So Josh is out of the program. I want to say special thank you to Josh for producing and getting Diane in. Mav, I know you are very appreciative of the effort that Josh put forward. So let's give him a little bit of love there. He jumped through hoops for us. So that was tremendous. Thank you, Josh. Yeah, Mav, I say this sometimes to you and you probably laugh, but I feel like we're we're like family, like you made that beautiful flag for me and sent that to me. That came from the heart, and I knew it. I felt it. My wife took that and hung it up in the mudroom as soon as you walk in my home. So the picture that I took of that flag that you made for me is what people see when they enter my home. Wow. So it's powerful. It's just so powerful. I can go on and on about all of the good feelings that I get from you and your entire family. And I hope one day, when, this whole COVID thing, calms down a bit in the future, because, I'm a patient person. I hope to one day be able to give you a nice big bear hug, and your husband too, because He's a man of my own heart. That beard of his. Oh my.
And the
Yeah.
hair.
The hair and the beard. I know I would get along really well with him. He's definitely my kind of guy. So I hope that in the future we could get to see each other. And there's so many people here that I do want to meet. I plan to, when things calm down, make a centralized meeting location, maybe here on the East Coast or even on the West Coast, and do some stuff like that where I can go out and get out and meet some of the people. And if we can't make it happen all in one place, I'll go on a tour and go around and meet people because I have family in California. So it would be awesome to do that. And I know that you'd be down for it, and it would be a great thing. We can go live on location from wherever we are, enjoying a couple of adult beverages and having some good conversation. I think that would be great. But getting back to your cousin, the candlelit stream that I showed, the 3 candles burning, significant for all 3, the 2 girls and her. For me, that jumped out at me. Josh shared that with me today after I got off the phone with you. I said I gave him my idea, and he sent me that. And there's like how it all comes together. He's on board with us as well, and that's another blessing because I don't pay him. He's not a paid guy. He does it for free, so yeah. So Diane, is that what Josh is saying? Diane was ready to give up joining. I thought. Oh, right. Okay. So he's talking about Diane. She was ready to give up. I told her, let's try one more time. Clara helped make it happen. That's what Josh just sent me privately. Diane was ready to give up joining. She tried so many times, and Josh told her, let's try it just one more time. And if it doesn't work, we'll go. We'll stop. And Josh said, Clara helped make it work. Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, folks. So if you don't mind, I know that you're probably tired. You worked hard all day. It's 10 o'clock here. So we've been almost an hour, 40 minutes. Would you mind taking a couple of questions from the folks?
Of course.
Okay. All right. So I'll open it up to some questions. Hold on a second. Let me see. Okay, Ron, can you do a tour on the block you live on that you were MIA on a snow day? I work full time, Diane, and I know that's just a dig at me. And thank you for your son coming with the snowblower and blowing the sidewalk for me. I thanked him personally. I actually hugged KJ and said thank you. And I heard Kenny give the order. That's her husband, Kenny. So I was getting ready to go to work, and there was half a foot of snow out there. And Diane is my neighbor. She lives right across the street. She sent her son over with her husband. Thank you for that. All right. Anybody with comments or questions for Mav? We have the best community. Yes, Black Rose, we have the best community. I agree. Divine intervention, says Sergeant Melinda, retired Sergeant Melinda. Yes, I agree. Divine intervention, 1000%. I said that today. I love you too, Diane. Thank you. Joey Brooklyn is, Mav, if you ever want to listen to a real Brooklynite, Joey Brooklyn does videos. Subscribe to his channel, everybody. Joey Brooklyn does tours of Brooklyn, New York, and you got to hear his voice. He sounds like Joe Pesci, but he's much more handsome than Joe Pesci, that's for sure. I've had the honor to meet Joey Brooklyn in person through Periscope, the other app, and we went to dinner a few different times and some comedy shows with our wives. He's been here right at this table where I'm sitting in my home. And we also met Louise Poppy from New Zealand. She came to New York, and we took her out to dinner twice. Brought her over to the Coney Island Boardwalk, rode the Wonder Wheel at Astroland, world famous. And this was a woman who came all the way from New Zealand through live streaming. Great messages. Here is a prayer, Psalm 1331. Beautiful. Thank you, Black Rose, for sharing that. I appreciate that. Yes, Cali would be better for a reunion, of course, because you live there, Meglo. Anybody have any questions for Mav in regards to? Oh, we lost her. She left us. See, you guys didn't give the questions, so she popped off. She probably hit the button inadvertently. She'll probably join back. So I'm getting ready to wrap it up. Me, thank you so much. Mav, stay strong. You're a hero also. I couldn't agree with that anymore. Cat in a Hat, thank you for being in here. Appreciate you. She says, Mav, you're such a beautiful young woman. I can't agree more. She's beautiful inside and out. She is wonderful. Thank you, Tracy. So I'm just showing it up. I'm showing these the comments. I'm going to wait just another minute for Mav to maybe come back in because maybe she hit a button unbeknownst to her. So again, this 3 years to the night of the heinous murder of Clara Forman by her husband. It wasn't a day or so after tonight, after the 17th, that he killed his daughters. He waited a day, and Mav is back. Let's add her to the show. What did you do? You hit it with one of your nails? Do you have nails, Mav?
No, I don't. I play instruments, so I don't have nails.
Okay.
No, we're having a really big wind and rainstorm where I'm at right now at work, and I think that we lost internet.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you hit a button. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So Robert has a question. He's a good supporter of mine. He says, Mav, I don't know the backstory of your cousin Clara. How old was she when she passed? Where did she live? God bless.
I believe she was 34. She might have been 31. I'd have to actually go back and look it up.
I have it. She was
much
35. She was 35, and she would have now been 37. I have my little cheat sheet
Okay,
here.
thank you. It seems, with the cousins when they're younger than we were. So I always thought she was younger than she was, but she was like one of those older people that was either really old or really young. She lived in Kelowna, British Columbia, and thank you for the blessings. Yeah, she was young. She had the rest of her life ahead of her, and the girls were very young too. They were little, 7 and 9.
Yes. And when her evil monster, I won't even call him a husband, when Jacob Forman was sentenced, he got sentenced to 35 years. That's 25 to life for the 2 girls and 10 for his wife. We both disagree with that. You and I both talked about this extensively. I mean, he should never see the light of day, and I don't even know how the Canadian judicial system is okay with that. When you take 3 human beings off the face of the earth in your own flesh and blood, there should be no light of day for that human being. I don't even call him a human. That's a subhuman in my eyes. So that, I'm sure, is another question that I saw roll by about the sentencing. If you go back into my playlist, there is a playlist. I'll link it down below here, and I'm also going to link I'm going to also link in the description links to domestic violence and to DutyRon.com. If you're not subscribing and following me on all things social media, it's all one word, DutyRon, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I will also link down below Mav's social media. She has Instagram and Facebook, and I believe Twitter. Do you have Twitter too?
I don't know if I still have an active Twitter. I think it got cut off.
Well, those are the 2 that I know of. She has Facebook and Instagram. She's not a Snapchatter, I don't think, and not a TikToker. But she does play an instrument, and I'd like to expand on that quickly to get some of the people here to understand what instrument you play, because I'm interested in hearing about that.
Well, I am in a family of musicians, so we have from my grandfather, my parents, my husband, we're all musicians. So I play the ukulele. I'm learning the guitar. I also sing and play the piano. So we've been doing instruments. My dad plays the drums, and my nieces, who are little bitty, 5 and younger, they play the drums too. And we have the one child that is non-musical, so go figure.
Wow. It's like my brother. He's a lead guitarist and a vocalist. He's a phenomenal musician. And when I take out his Les Paul guitar or his Strat, I sound like on it. I really sound like crap on it. So he definitely picked up my father's. My father was a musician as well. He played in a band, and that's how my parents met in a bar. Him playing in a band. So sometimes some of the kids get it and some don't. So all right, maybe one live stream will get Mav to come on and play the ukulele for us, or even the piano. That would be cool.
Oh,
No,
I don't know. I'm not as brave playing. Well, maybe my
No.
husband and I have been playing together a lot more now that we've had a little bit more time. So that's nice.
Yeah. So no pressure. Maybe I can get a private concert between the two of you on Zoom or something like that.
For
and then
sure.
we'll go from there. Matt Tully says he plays the drums. Awesome.
I love it.
Love the drums.
I love the drums. We did get a question come in, I think.
We did? Oh yeah. I had it up and I got rid of it.
Oh, there we go. I'll try to read it.
Mav
How are we
B.
doing after the conviction? Wow. We're surviving. And what some people don't know is that within, I think, 6 weeks after, so we lost Clara in mid-December, and then at the end of January, we lost my little brother, who was Clara's, just a little bit younger than Clara, was in her age group. So we were stacked with tragedy. And one of the things that we learned through all of this is that we can absolutely survive anything as a family. It seemed impossible that this could happen, and it seemed like there were days when we wouldn't make it through. One of the things that the conviction actually helped a lot. There was a lot of contention because some family members thought that it was okay for him to plead guilty to second-degree murder with the girls, and there were a handful of us who were absolutely against that. So a little bit of the fighting between the family was stressful, to say the least. And we band together. We love hard. We love each other so hard. And that's the way my grandfather raised us, was to be tight knit and to love each other. And we knew that our cousins are our first friends, our sister and brothers are our first friends, and we were raised that way. So that is something very fortunate. I know, having conversations with people about their family, I feel like, right or wrong, or how, dysfunctional or functional it is, we do love each other and we stick by each other. And that's something that is, I think, that, and then a combination of our strength and faith, and just really knowing that we could survive it. And what can we do to help others? That's such a hard question. It's hard to know what to do. I think one of the things that helped me, and I can speak for myself, is that I know I've seen comments come through. First of all, is acknowledge what happened. This is something that's really hard for even members of my family. And I've seen in other videos that I've watched about, Chris Watts and with the other victims, and saying they weren't, that, like, how dare you say this is a domestic violence? She wasn't in domestic violence. When you murder your family, that's domestic violence.
Right.
And sometimes the first physical act is the final physical act. There are many ways to be violent in a relationship. Relationship violence is very, very common. I fear for people who are locked in with their abusers right now. Violence against children and women are common in various religions that make it okay. We can have a different conversation about that if anyone's interested, but acknowledging what it is very important. Putting it and letting excuses or putting anything else on the name of it is wrong, in my opinion. To say that this happened because of alcohol, that's not the case. It happened because a person decided that another person's life was not valuable, and Jacob was a domestic abuser. So that's the first thing, is acknowledging what's happening. The second thing that I would say that's really important is to let a person know I'm here for you no matter what, any time of day or night, you can call me. That's something that I was trying to figure out how to tell Clara when I was starting to be worried. And you have to be very delicate about it. You have to make sure that you're doing it in person. If I had known Diane at the time, I would have asked her to go and check on her and just to give her that safe space that if there's any time, if you ever need to leave. I had a close friend for me that was very vocal, and I knew that I could call her. And she finally was brave enough to say to me, when are you going to leave? And she understood that it wasn't as simple as just walking out the front door, but she was helping. The other thing is financial help. One of the biggest ways that abusers continue their abuse after, and also as a fear tactic in order to keep their victims in check, is financial abuse. So being able to have the resources to leave and having that support. A lot of women and men, when they leave, do not have the support of their family. That's something that is really hard for a lot of people to understand, but that is very common. They don't have the support of their family. So it means that if they leave, they will be homeless. Opening your doors, giving money, giving those resources. And finally, if you are in a position, if you are an attorney, if you are in a position to help pay for those lawyers, that's really important, because not every person, I came from a wealthy relationship. My husband was wealthy, and I left with no money. I had no money. I had no access to bank accounts. I didn't have any money, and I couldn't qualify for anything because of our tax return showed that we were millionaires. So those are the resources that help women and children and men who are in these situations, anybody who's in the situation, to get out. It's harder for people to put up the cash. They want to say they want to help, but when it really came down to it, I had maybe 3 or 4 people that were willing to actually put us up and to make it happen. I had a couple of benefactors that gave me money for a lawyer so that I could get divorced. Things like that are harder to come by.
Didn't you say to me that you left with your child in your arms and nothing else? You just walked out.
Yep. I ran out the door.
We have to do a live stream if you would allow us to talk about this and just domestic violence in general. I have many others who would like to join who have been victims, but your story is unique, and I know there's much more to it than we can get into here. You also touched on that in addition to the loss of your cousin, you lost your brother. How did you lose your brother? Was it an accident? Was it suicide? Was it violent crime?
He died by suicide. And he was the happiest guy you'd ever meet. And he would be the guy that you'd turn to if anything ever happened. And losing Clara was really difficult for him. And we had a good conversation at her service. I didn't know at the time that Clara's Kelowna family had a service for her, and it was beautiful. And Diane gave the eulogy for the girls. That was wonderful, because a lot of the people in our family were not happy with the service that she got in for our family. And I had a really strong talk with my brother about what we wanted in a service when we go. And I never thought that I would be planning his service just a couple months down the road. And, it's one of those things that our family, wow, just in a couple of months experienced murder and suicide. And it's been something that's really hard to talk about for a lot of people.
Wasn't it December 11th was the day, right?
No, for him, it was the end of January. So January the 28th or 29th. We're not 1,000% certain.
I'm sorry. I remember you had spoken about that with me.
Oh, that was a dear friend of mine that passed on, one of my closest friends.
So I'm partially paying attention to the dates, but I thought it was your brother. But so January, and like you said, it was so close. December 17th, going into the 18th and 19th, and now in January. That had to take a toll on you. I mean, I know you said you were close with your brother and he had the biggest heart. And, when people do this, I mean, I had 2 police officers, good friends of mine who I work with, that took their own lives. And I just felt like what did I miss there too? Like, how come I didn't know what, like, how come I couldn't have prevented it or saved the day? It just really hit me hard. And that wasn't even a family member. These were fellow brothers in blue, which are family to us. But, Mav, I mean, you've been through so much, and you are a world of information, a wealth of information for the community. So I think we should continue this conversation, and do other shows. And I talked to you about maybe a once or twice a month live stream with me and you in the 2021. And I hope that you'll still consider doing that and being a part of this show. No extended contract. This isn't Verizon where you'll have a 2-year commitment. But I think our family here, our viewers, would love to have you on, like no set schedule, but like once or twice a month, come in, and it's the DutyRon and Mav B show. I think, we're all in agreement that we would love that. So please consider it and give me maybe.
Yes, absolutely. How's that? Absolutely. As long
That
as
was
you guys
better
are
than a
interested, let me know. And I know that it's difficult right now with the kind of year that we're closing out, and the holidays can be very, very challenging. And I pray for anybody who needs any kind of prayer for anything, whether it's to continue whatever prosperity you're having or to help you to cope. Let me know. I'm available, and reach out. I'm here. We are family here, and I know it's hard right now. So if there's anything that you need, whatever we can do, I'm happy to reach out. And I may not have a lot to give, but I can give you my prayers and my thoughts and my love. And I just want you guys to know that, and to remember that you have an entire community here. I know that I can reach out to Ron, and if I reach out to any one of you here, you will respond with loving arms. And that's something amazing in a world that's full of, you're a crime show. It's full of a whole bunch of bad stuff. And I love you all for being light and for being the good. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You guys are my heroes. Thank you.
And I couldn't have said it any better. You're awesome, Mom. We thank you. We love and respect you tremendously and your family. And I know that there's many that have been asking in the chat if there's any organization or anything that you start in the future for for Clara or for the girls. I know you were talking about some kind of scholarship fund or something in her name or whatever. Anything you decide to do in the future, we're there behind you financially and mentally and physically, supporting you in all aspects of that. So if you ever, think about something like that to keep her memory alive, I have tons of people here that would jump on the bandwagon to support you in your endeavor with that. So guys, I'm going to wish each and every one of you much love and respect. I always like to end the shows with a God bless the world. God bless the United States of America, but most importantly, God bless each and every one of us here. I hope you guys have a joyous and happy Christmas or holiday, whatever you celebrate here in this Christmas season. I got to tell you, we are looking forward to better things in 2021, but we're not out of the woods, and we have a lot of work to do as far as COVID goes. And I'm hoping and I'm praying for a good result for all of us, because we're all struggling in our own ways. So reach out, talk to each other, talk to a family member, talk to friends, reach out to people during these holidays. It's tough for everybody. All of us struggle, no matter how good or bad we have it. Some of the people who, are silent are the ones that are suffering in silence. So reach out and touch somebody. Mom, just stay for another second. When I end this, I just want to chat with you a little bit at the end. So guys, thank you so much. I will catch you on the next live stream. Much love and respect from Mav and I, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you for everyone who's contributed with positive interaction, with super chats, and with all love. Good night from New York City, and good night from Cali. Peace, guys.